jeopardizing all of our assets, all of our natural resources, so to speak. I can't really speak to these chemicals. I don't think they're using anything that has to do with mercury or lead, but I will tell you that chlorpyrifos is a neurotoxin. It's something that was banned during the administration of Obama, and it was supposed to be phased out almost this year or next year, and that was overturned, as you saw in the film, by the current administration. And the rest of them have been granted.
In the late 1980s, policymakers in both Hawaii and Washington started conversations about making Hawaii a center of biotechnology research.
They don't grow food in these fields, they experiment with seeds and pesticides.
We have the highest number of open-air field test sites of anywhere in the nation.
Chemical companies are experimenting in Hawaii using pesticides that are banned in Europe.
The federal government has granted Syngenta and Pioneer the right to test pesticides here on this island outside of what the label mandates.
They're exercising this corporate profit over the welfare of the people.
Feeding the world was always a greenwashing of a technology whose aim was to sell more chemicals.
Multinational seed producers use the county to research and develop new seed varieties.
Basically, they're contaminating the land and they're going to contaminate the water, and it's just not sustainable.
They're just dumping copious amounts of poisons and chemicals next to our schools, streams, all these waterways.
Nobody knows what these chemicals will do to humans. They've never been tested. Nobody has ever proven them safe.
Experimentation without informed consent is a high-level taboo.
We live in a world today where there's absolute conflict of interest between government and the corporations, and that conflict is never disclosed.
Any technology which needs secrecy and hiding has already proven there's something wrong with it.
People my age are really starting to stand up, and they've done their homework. You can never really lose when you're standing with the truth.
You would think from looking at these rebuttals that this was an isolated local group of activists creating problems. But the real truth is this debate about environmental toxins in general and pesticides specifically is raging around the world.
It has been people's movements that have always changed the world. It hasn't been the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, or the Labor Party. It's been people recognizing that they are the ones who change the world.
There you go.
Could you give us environmental message? Just 1 minute. Why this film is important? Because we're going to be promoting the film.
This film is extremely important because it's a land that we love.
Thank you.
Named my wife, Keely.
Hi.
She grew up in Hawaii.
Thank you.
I grew up in Ireland.
Thank you very much.
I love the countryside of life. I love the clean water of life. I love the environment of beauty and landscape of beauty. And when you see something that is destructive and having a caustic effect on a community, that pains you. So you want to ask questions and you want to know why we're doing this. So this film is important.
And we will help you. We'll put you on the broadcast. It turns out you guys are going to be over with the big...
She's so much better than I am as a filmmaker in many ways. But I just saw this last edit tonight for the first time. This is a very personal film. Very personal film. Love Hawaii.
On Powerhouse Road in Waimea, and we were staying in her guest house. She brought the land 40 years ago. Within the last year, maybe year and a half, she's had cognitive impairment so severe that she doesn't remember things. She's not able to speak her words clearly. And she was taken to the hospital, and she was on her chart. Mercury poisoning went all the way across to the edge of the chart.
Center for Food Safety, his daughter and I are friends, and she invited me to this event at his house with him and his next week, right?
Well, they're hosting.
So I'm so proud of Keely for making this film. Like I said at the beginning of the evening, I wanted to make this from our heart. And it comes from the heart of the two of us, for a land and a people that we love, who embraced us and let us in, and the wee house that we have out there, which is at the end of that movie there. If you look to the left, we've got a small little house there, a wee house, and but we brought our children up there, and we love it, and we love the rest of the landscape of this nation, this country, and you know, you definitely have to lean in now. We have to stand up one way or another and have a voice, because they're taking it away. They're knocking the trees down and digging the land up. You know.
So is there one final question? Somebody, was it you?
There's a man up the back.
Okay.
One right here first.
We've got right here, yes.
First of all, I want to say hello, because I worked with Jane Goodall when you were the host of the Peace Day in Griffith Park. But also, we do a global broadcast for peace, and we're doing a new one for Earth Day. And we want to promote your film. And if you have a trailer that we can put on this international broadcast, it's being hosted by Ed Begley and his wife, and it's going to be coming up in just less than a week.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we just heard tonight from Jane, because we sent her the movie, and this is a woman who, in our life, has had a great impact of humanity, this great woman, this great legend, this beautiful lady. So we're so proud to know her. Saw the film, and we got a wonderful thumbs up from her. Wonderful. It was the most eloquent video, literally as we were coming down the road today to see you all.
So one final thing, would you give a quick environmental message that we could put in the broadcast? What your feeling is right now?
Sure, I mean, I don't think we should do that right now because we're answering everybody's questions, but yes, we would be happy to help you with
that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Or clean air, for example. When they talk about drift being relevant and real in the movie, it's true. I mean, we live in Kauai, and when the Kona winds come our direction, that's winds from the west, they carry with them something called VOG, which is a volcanic type of...
a great champion of the earth, life and family, a great woman, great filmmaker. That's off to you there.
Thank you. Thank you. My darling husband and my executive producer, I couldn't have done this without you. As Pierce said, this has really been a labor of love for me. We moved to Kauai 17 years ago to escape the pressures in Los Angeles, and also to really give our children an authentic childhood in a state that I was raised in. I wanted them to understand aloha, and I'm happy to say they do. But along the way, there was a big surprise for us, and it resulted in this film being made. I was really surprised in 2013 to watch crops in Kauai, and there was very little disclosure. We didn't have any protections. We didn't have any buffer zones around environmentally sensitive areas, around schools, homes, hospitals, shorelines, and we wanted the community to be able to interact better with these agrochemical companies that are on our island. We wanted a dialogue, and all of those things thus far have been denied to us. So what I decided to do was tell the story and to start accumulating the news stories, the footage, the news articles, and testimony from people who live on the island, locals, a lot of local Hawaiian families, to hear what their concerns were. And the result became Poisoning Paradise, the film that you saw tonight. This is still a rough cut. We haven't locked our picture yet. We're just about to do so. I have about another around 2 weeks of editing to give the film its final polish. So gatherings like this at film festivals are very important to me. I would love your feedback. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions, I'm certainly open to answering them to the best of my ability.